Okay. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are. Even good night to some of you, depending on where you are watching from. You are watching us live this afternoon. You are watching us live this morning, this evening, depending on which one is yours. And we are here to actually continue where we stopped. And we continue, of course, to mourn our great comrade, Marian Hedda. We continue to mourn her. And of course, but we must continue. Great, wonderful, there are lots of freedom all over the world. You are welcome to this program. While you are joining us, share the video, invite others to join. We are going to have a quick one. If we are so long here, we are going to be here for 2 hours. Just 2 hours. And that 2 hours is not that long when we start, because it will actually, the time moves so quickly, especially time of broadcasting. It moves so quickly. So great and wonderful people of Biafra, invite others to join. While it was very, very important, share the video, like the video, and other people join. So we are here once more. Of course, last week we were very, very emotional about our loss, because we lost a very, very important person. But this time around, we have here actually extra strength. We derive strength from our emotions, from our weakness. We derive strength from from our bitterness. We derive strength because we are actually going to continue fighting on behalf of our fallen hero. That's how our drive continues. So, regardless of how much of our people we have lost, it will never litter us. It will never actually deter us. It will never stop us. This burning desire that is in us, it will never quit it. It will never stop it. So this time around, we are going to be talking about, of course, you saw the topic there. Let me reiterate on that topic. We are going to be talking the we are going to be talking about the politics around MNK's detention, the reality of the law, Barrister Aloy Ejimakor, and of course, the last but not the least, Asari Dokubo's speech in the villa. Now, I want you to understand the politics that is around the detention of our leader. And I saw this guy in Finland who always claim that he is a lawyer, he knows, he's talking rubbish, reading the verdict given to our leader on the 13th of October 2022. So we are going to actually bring back that verdict in order to actually, for you to know exactly what that verdict talks about, and we are going to analyze it. We are going to analyze the politics that these people are playing with the detention of our leader. We are going to analyze it, because if we keep quiet, these criminals and cohort will continue to actually frame our structure and the frame the only people who have paid the price for the sake of the case of IUB and Mazda Kanu. Of course, all of you are aware of the price of Barrister Joffo, and the reason why he pays such price, it is because he is somebody that is very, very resolute, formidable, uncompromisable. That is the reason why he paid the price for the sake of the case he is handling. Of course, there are many other people who are actually coming out from the ground like germinations, like a seed that is germinating. Of all of a sudden today, they are the people to be trusted and not our ally anymore. Of course, these things are there. We will get used to it. Of course, what we need to do is to continue to focus, continue to actually make sure that we are moved by the activities of these infiltrators. Because they have infiltrated me. Of course, if I must talk about Barrister Barr Ejimakor, his activities, the reason why he was infiltrated, and the reason why he gave in to the infiltration, I am going to tell you right now because I believe that it is now time for us to talk about it. It is very, very important. Now, first of all, let us go to the case, the verdict given to our leader. That verdict that was given to our leader on the 13th of October by the appellate court. Let us go there and find out what the verdict says. If it is indeed what this illiterate to market his lies. Let's go back to that verdict in order to understand what we are engaging ourselves with. So, just one moment, let me bring it from my side so that I will be able to. Okay, now let us read. Appeal court quashes terrorism charges against Nnamdi Kanu. Did you hear that? Quashes the terrorism charges against Nnamdi Kanu. Appeal court. Now, on the 13th of October 2022, listen to the full verdict. Now, the Court of Appeal on Thursday in Abuja quashed the terrorism charges brought against Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. We continue. The judgment in an appeal filed by a three-member panel led by Justice Hanatu Saki in a unanimous judgment held that the respondent, by not responding to the appellant submission, considered to the allegation that Kanu was forcefully renditioned from Kenya to Nigeria. Did you hear that? I hope you heard that. Because if anybody come to tell you otherwise, just to actually justify their criminality in this struggle, just to justify their sabotage, if anybody tells you otherwise, just to justify their criminality and sabotage, tell that person that we are here now to do the needful, and the needful we must do. Listen to it. Listen very, very attentively. He said, let me read that part again. Let me read that part again. Appeal court on Thursday in Abuja quashed the terrorism charges brought against Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra. We are not proscribed. Delivering judgment in in an appeal filed by Kanu, a three-member panel led by Justice Hanatu Sankey in a unanimous judgment held that the respondent, by not responding to the appellant's submissions, considered to the allegation that Kanu was forcefully rendition from Kenya to Nigeria. Did you hear that? It is very, very simple. It is very, very, very simple. It is not actually, it is a simple grammar, it is a simple English that you will actually listen to and understand it. Delivering a judgment in an appeal filed by Kanu, a three-member panel led by Justice Hanatu Sankey, in a unanimous judgment held that the respondent, which is the Nigeria government and their representatives, they are the respondent by not responding to the appellant's submission. By not responding to the appellant's submission, considered to the allegation that Kanu was forcefully rendition from Kenya to Nigeria. What it simply means that a question was thrown to those who are actually standing on behalf of the Nigeria government. How was Kanu brought back to Nigeria? They were not able to give such answer in a manner that court will understand it. That is the reason why the judgment read by Justice Adedotum Adefope Okijie held that it was necessary for the federal government to prove the legality of Kanu's arrival to Nigeria. Now, the appellate court held that the respondent flouted the Terrorism Act and was also in violation of all known international conventions and treaties guiding extradition process, thus breaching the right of the defendant. The court further held that having illegally and forcefully rendition the appellant, the trial court is stripped of jurisdictions to continue to try Kanu. Did you hear that? I hope you are listening to that, because we are also coming to what Asari Dokubo said in the villa. We are reading this so that I want you to be also noting it, because we are going to actually now tell you the reason why Asari Dokubo said what he said in the villa, and the reason why Asari Dokubo was in the villa, and what he said, how he censored the information that he was given in the villa. So many of those illiterates that was in the audience were clapping for him, because these people are those myopic individuals that cannot understand what exactly is going on in Nigeria. They are calling him brave. They are calling him this. He is brave to come and speak in this manner. But we are going to bust his bubble this evening, this afternoon, this morning, depending on where you are watching from. So let us continue. The appellate court held that federal government's action tainted the entire proceedings it initiated against and amounted to an abuse of criminal prosecution in general. This is the verdict given to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu by the Court of Appeal. That is the court of a competent jurisdiction, said that Nigeria government flouted and breached the international convention which governs the extradition treaties, and Nigeria government committed an act of terrorism against Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, which led the court of a competent jurisdiction judge thereof the case that is actually pending against this Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Because as long as there is no extradition treaties or extradition documents, because for extradition to be established, there must be a suit filed against this so-called, if there is somebody that is called a fugitive, there must be a court case filed from that country where that person is found. There must be a law, a court proceedings against such person to hear such person. So why extradition is very, very important in every, in every international related case like this. It is because some of us who are political activists, maybe we have exposed something that is against human rights, is against humanity. At the end of the day, will decide go out of their way in order to come and take us from wherever we are in order to keep us on arbitrary detention or to kill us. So that is the reason why extradition must start with a hearing from the host nation. Now the hearing will now come to, will this person get a fair hearing where he is going to be extradited to? Will this person be killed where he is going to be taken to? That is exactly the hearing that will start from the host nation, which was Kenya, was the home. And after all that, you get a court order that actually, you know, that actually approved the extradition. That court order and that document that those will sign to show that the extradition treaty and its governs it was actually not flouted. So in this regard, the court of a competent jurisdiction through this question to this federal government lawyers, they were not able to provide such information in accordance with the international law of extraditions. They were not able to make it available. They were not able to answer the questions, which led the court of a competent jurisdiction and the learned judges that was presiding over such matter to null and void such cases. Such case, and also they said that they do not have jurisdiction to try this case. That is the issue of jurisdiction that we talk about every day. Each and every time we come online, we tell you about jurisdiction because so many people does not understand the importance of jurisdiction. That is the reason why Nigeria police will take you from your local area, from your area, and they will fly you to more than 20 will I say 500 kilometers away from your where they picked you up. So the police station that is in that area. So that is exactly, it is called kidnapping. It is infringement to your right. There is no police that has right to take you away from your jurisdiction without taking you to the police station that is nearby to report. That is, of course, this is the reason why Nigeria does not understand the importance of jurisdiction. And of course, having seen the verdict issued by this court of a competent jurisdiction and the head judges thereof, Nigeria did not accept such verdict because they do not understand the common language called jurisdiction. This common, English called jurisdiction. When you are taking somebody, he must report that person to that police station that they are within their district, so that it will not come to the law as a kidnap or act of terrorism. Because it is only a kidnapper that will take somebody and take them away from their area. It is only a kidnapper that will see somebody and call them criminal and move them from their area of jurisdiction to another without actually what it is very, very simple. You will call it respecting the police station that is in your area. It is very simple. If they cannot respect the police station that is stationed in that community, in that jurisdiction, it means that it is an act of terrorism meted on you. That's why when this verdict was issued by the learned judges, Nigeria did not understand it, especially Nigeria led by the impostor in Asari, who does not know anything. Nigeria led by Malami, who does not know anything within the ambit of law. He does not understand jurisdiction because every people's rights are violated, jurisdiction are undermined. That is the reason why they have to reinstate this case and remove those learned, judges, to the extent that one of their spouse was killed recently. These things you have seen, it has a very, very significant impact within the ambit of law. Because if you cannot obey jurisdiction, it means that you are undermining the Constitution. You are undermining you are undermining that police station, or you are undermining such country like Kenya when you went ahead and kidnap somebody, keep him in somewhere, torture them for 8 days, beat them up until they develop ear problem, and you rendition them with a private jet. It is an act of terrorism. That is the reason why there was a verdict on the 13th of October stating that there is no court in Nigeria that has a jurisdiction to come into this matter, that the best thing for Nigeria, that is something that is actually obtainable in this regard, is to take this man back to where you found him. Because it is an act of terrorism against him, which nullifies every frivolous charges leveled against him from the from the inception of these court proceedings. Let us actually finalize the reading, then we will now bring it to Asari Dokubo and this criminal in Finland, because they are all the same people. The appellate court held that federal government's action tainted the entire proceeding. Of course it did. It initiated against Kanu and amounted to an abuse of criminal prosecution in general. The court will never shy away from calling the executive to order when it tilts towards executive recklessness. Did you hear that? The court has to. The courts now have to now call the executive in order, because the executive is actually doing things off the book. So the court is now working according to the book. They cannot actually correct a mistake that is done off the book. They have to quash it in order to maintain the dignity within the ambit of the law. That is the reason why the court that is actually, of course, you see, competent jurisdiction. They must quash such case. Now, let me continue to read the verdict. The court will never shy away from calling the executive to order when it tilts towards executive recklessness, because there are three arms of government in Nigeria. Remember, the three arms of government, they are independent to each other. These three arms of government, they are independent to each other. So executive cannot come into the judiciary while judiciary cannot go into the executive, and the other one, which is legislature, they cannot be dictated. The executive will not dictate for them, while the other one will not dictate for them. They are actually supposed to be independent to each other. Now, let's continue. Arguing the appeal, Kanu's lawyer Michael Zokomesan on September 13 told the three-man panel that Kanu was first arraigned on December 23, 2015 and granted bail on April 25, 2017. He explained further that agents of federal government, the respondent, had launched a military operation codenamed Operation Python Dance at the appellant hometown in September 2017, which forced him to escape out of the country to Israel, then to London. He recalled that on June 27, 2021, the federal government forcefully arrested Kanu in Kenya and renditioned him back to Nigeria in most cruel and inhuman manner. On the 29th June 2021, the appellant was taken to court by the federal government, where he was rearranged following the appellant's preliminary objections to the 15-count charges preferred against him by the federal government. The trial judge, Justice Binta Nyaku of the Federal High Court, which is the court of the first instance, on April 8, 2022, struck out 8 counts. Our humble submission is the remaining 7 counts ought not to be retained by the trial court, because before the time Kanu was renditioned to Nigeria from Kenya, he was facing 5-count charges. Ozokome submitted that, going by Section 15 of Extradition Act, Kanu is not supposed to be charged without the approval of Kenyan government. That is, there we go. There we go. This is spot on. Do you know what is called spot on? Kanu can never be charged. Can never be charged without the approval of the Kenyan government, because from Kenya is supposed to be the first place where they have to go to court to see if this man is going to be saved by extraditing him to Nigeria, if he is going to go through a chopping block, if his right is going to be violated, because all these countries are signatory to Universal Declaration of Human Rights. They are all signatory to it. So before you will actually sign off to to extradite somebody, you must have done this due diligence. You must have make sure that they are not going to be, they are not going to be placed in danger, or their right is not going to be violated. It is very, very simple. These are protocols that must be put together during the extradition process. These protocols must be obeyed. Now, our humble submission remained that 7 counts ought to return to by the trial court, because before the time Kanu was renditioned to Nigeria from Kenya, he was facing 5 counts. Ozokome submitted that now the remaining 7 counts cannot stand, being filed illegally without following the due process under the rule specialty as envisaged under Section 15 of Extradition Act. Now I want you to ask such criminal who will come to tell you that Ejiofor was the one, Ozokome was not there, and they say that Mazi is not discharged and acquitted. Ask such criminal in Finland that has been enriching himself with your money to explain to you exactly how extradition is conducted because he claimed he is a lawyer, he claimed he is this, he claimed he is that, when he has no knowledge of anything that is pertaining to law. And he does not even know when somebody's right is being infringed. Now, listen to it. To be honest with you, whether it is a Geoffrey that is standing there in the court, whether it is Ozokome, the deal has been finalized. The fact that Nigeria does not understand the importance of jurisdiction, that is the reason why they have to do what they are doing right now in order to, malign this, judgment that was not delivered in their favor. Now, this allegation of rendition were never denied by the federal government, and you cannot sustain the charges when you extradited the appellant without the approval of Kenya authority. Did you hear that? Without the approval of Kenya authority, so it is illegal. In addition, Ozokume argued. Remember, the criminal said that it was a Joffo who stood or whatever. What did he say that recently? It does not actually make any sense. Remember that whoever does, whether it is you, ordinary individual that stands, have you ever asked yourself what is the reason why Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is no longer coming to court whenever there is a proceeding going on his behalf? Do you know why? Do you know the reason why Mazen Nnamdi Kanu will no longer come to court when this issue is brought up? It is simple, because the case that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is answering is quashed with capital letter. Is quashed. So there is nothing that will bring him to court, because there will be no intervention, there will be no guilty or not guilty. He has passed through that stage, and he came out with flying colors because he is discharged and acquitted. That is the reason why he can no longer come to court any time where there is hearing of appeal court hearing. He will never come to court again, because there is no question and interrogation anymore. To show you that the case is finished. The only thing that is going on right now, it is for federal government who does not understand the importance of jurisdiction, who now rearrange Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, even when the appellate court of competent jurisdiction has quashed everything that they brought forward against him. Now they have to now call for stay of execution. Now, in the process where there is a stay of execution, now if it is the appeal court that is going to actually follow up with this verdict that was issued on the 13th of October 2022, they have to actually go through all the protocols that was observed on that same day to know if there is any omission done, to understand whether there is any excesses coming from personal agenda coming from whichever judge that actually represented the case. They have to go through those documents. They have to go through the constitution as per the law. As per the law. Because this is like appeal that we do not agree with you. It is actually, when we talk about the law, it is actually the right of the federal government to appeal. It is within the right of anybody to appeal when a verdict is issued that they do not actually, by that verdict, they have the right to appeal. So federal government who appeal and say they do not accept such verdict, that is the reason why another due diligence must be done by the presiding judges. If these presiding judges is not moved by emotions, if this presiding judges is not moved by the excesses of the federal government, if these presiding judges are not compromised, the only thing that is actually feasible in this case, it is for them to check the documents, for them to check the verdict, for them to check the history, for them to check everything that is within the ambit of the law and the verdict to make sure there is no violation of the law, to make sure that the verdict was issued in a good standing. So when you see a delay tactics being implemented, it can be as a result of them federal government going making sure that they dictate federal government, they dictate for the judiciary, or they might not directly dictate for the judiciary, they might not actually respond when the judiciary issue any if the judiciary issued them any document to sign, they might say they might take like 1 month to sign it, they might take like 2 months to sign it. If the judiciary call for them for their issue them, it is like, let me just make it as an example in a situation, in a manner that you will understand it. If the judiciary say now, the Nigeria government, which is the federal government, that they are issuing you a document to sign that we are bringing back this case on the 1st of July. Federal government will now delay such document, will now delay the approval or find anything within their, within them to make sure that there is a delay strategy. Because of course they are federal government. So this is what they are doing to make sure they delay the court. Now, this is the reason why you heard from the lawyer that sometimes a document will be served to federal government. They will not even inform the Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, which is the one that is detained, or inform the lawyer. So now the lawyer have to now be uninformed. So by the time they will inform the lawyer, it might be 1 month, 2 months, which is now pulling up a stunt, which is called delay strategy. It might not be the judiciary delaying, it is the federal government, because their excesses towards the judiciary is too much. They like to maneuver, they like to malign, they like to pull authorities where they are not supposed to do so. So which is now delaying this, the proceedings. So in this regard, no matter how much they delay the case, because they know the reason why they are delaying the case, they know that there is nothing that will come out in favor of them within the ambit of the law. That is the reason why if they see a way to now just detain Mazen Nnamdi Kanu without bringing the case back to the judiciary, they can. It is just that it is already here on their neck, that the judiciary has been working within the ambit of the law, not because of the excess of the executive or the dictation of the executive. They are working within the law. So that's why you see this delay strategy. It is mostly coming from Malami. Now, coming to those, to be realistic, Tinubu have in a situation whereby this case is like this, Tinubu has no right to say that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu cannot be released, except if he want to, actually undermine the judiciary, which is what they always do. If on the date given by the court that Mazen Namde Kanu's hearing will take place, if that date arrives and the court decide that, of course, we have gone through the proceedings, we have, do the due diligence, we found out that judgment that was delivered by my, colleague, because they are colleagues, it is actually within the ambit of the law. So therefore, objection overruled, that the judgment stands. So what the court to say, because this is what the federal government is very, very scared to actually hear. They don't want objective overruled, objection overruled. They don't want to hear it. That is the reason why they are delaying. But we are going to see this new government that come in, what is going to be their own strategy. We are going to bring it right in front of you, because it is very important that it is important for you to understand the law, because some of our people, they just open their mouth, they start talking for, talking jargon without understanding how the law works, without even understanding what is going on. They will talk it in the favor of them. The reason why you found this criminal in Finland coming to talk rubbish, telling you that the Mazen Namde Kanu was not discharged and acquitted, telling you all those rubbish, because it has been their prayer, it has been what they have been working tirelessly. That is the reason why when they saw that they are losing woefully, they went and called themselves prime minister, government in exile, this and that. Do you know why? It is very simple. They expected, the reason why they did all what they did, they expected that DOS will be coming every day to be talking and actually saying what they have, they are doing, what they have achieved. Because if you don't know somebody's move, you will never know how to, you will never know how to, sabotage their move. So it pains them so much that our lawyer, who is supposed to be a lawyer, that is where I have problem, because everything that thief in Finland is doing or saying, it is as a result of the what Alloy is feeding him. Alloy is supposed to know better as a lawyer, but of course, Nigeria is a place where it is very, very. Nigeria is a very, difficult country to survive. It is a very, I would say, super difficult for people to survive. So that's why you see people that you might not even expecting them to be, corrupt. You might find them being corrupt because they want to make it, want to be answering Atakasi. To be honest with you, I have been observing Aloy Ejimakor to understand exactly why he is doing what he is doing. I only found out that Aloy Ejimakor, which is supposed to be the barrister who knows better, is doing all the work of sabotage against Ejiofor, against San Michael Zokome. It is all about for the sake of fortune and fame. Because having, gone through the history of Aloy Ejimakor, I came across a piece. I came across a piece. So if somebody is going to actually, with the situation of Nigeria, and Aloy Ejimakor is not the lead counsel in the case of Mazen Namde Kanu, Aloy Ejimakor is not actually representing Mazen Namde Kanu. in the appeal court or anywhere, other than what he did in Omahia, in the local court in Omahia. And having seen that if Ejiofor succeed with Mike Ozokome, the son, that this pair are going to continue to be the lead counsel and recognized as IPOB and Biafra lawyers. They will be recognized as formidable Iroko 3 who stood firm regardless of all the bombs thrown at them, and at the end of the day, they win. They came to actually beat the federal government in their courtrooms. So he wants to be at all cost in that position because he knows that if these people do it, that they will get the glory. Him will stay on the periphery where he's been, because everything he is fighting for, it is to move away from the periphery to come to the mainstream, because the situation of Nigeria is tough. It is, of course, the situation of Nigeria, but I don't think that if you have a conscience that you will be actually looking for money. Because do you know why I am saying this? Looking for money is very important, which it is within your profession. You need to look for money within the jurisdiction of your profession. Now, Barrister Aloy is an Igbo man. Barrister Aloy is a Biafra. If Biafra comes and we do a nation building and we actually succeeded, if we eventually succeed, Barrister Barr Ejimakor will succeed. If not because he's a lawyer, he will succeed because he is a Biafran. He will succeed because he is also part of those who did stand when the going was tough. But he does not just want to be part, he wants to be in the mainstream. So having seen he wants to be in the mainstream, he cannot get to the mainstream. He now needs to align himself with the opposition. He now needs to align himself with the faction created, because now the faction want to come everywhere. They created faction against IPOB. They have to now create faction within the lawyers against the lawyers. They have now to use the family of our leader to now play this game. Because to be honest with you, if these guys are this evil, which I am trying to understand what could make these people to be this evil. Because the game they are playing is a very, very dangerous game against their own. So, what could be the reason why? Because in the situation whereby you find your brother in a problem, regardless of your differences with the person who is standing on behalf of your brother, you have seen that this person is standing on behalf of your brother. But because this person is not dancing to your tone, just because of that, dancing to your tone, so that you will use him to siphon, you will use him to control, you will use him to control everything that is within your reach. Because you are not in control of these people, you decide to sabotage them. One question is, do you want to be in control of these people when you are not taking out your money from your pocket funding them? Why do you want to be in control? Why don't you focus on the man Aloy that you love? Why don't you focus on him? Why are you bringing distraction? Alloy was not there when the court of a competent jurisdiction delivered a judgment that quashed every case laid against your brother, your sibling. Alloy was not there. And the case is authentic. And if appeal court look at this case and deliver a different judgment, you can only say that the federal government played a foul there. The federal government played a foul there because according to the universal law, according to Nigeria Constitution Section 15 of Extradition Treaty, you will see that the judgment delivered on the 13th of October 2022 is like a morning within the ambit of the law. There is no court, there is no judge, no matter how compromised you might be, there is no way you will find anything that will give you the temerity to annul such verdict, because such verdict came with a condition. It came with a condition. It says there will be no court that will try this man because this man is still technically in Kenya, respecting territorial integrity, respecting the extradition treaties, international law and treaties. So if any judge in any court in Nigeria decided to go contrary to this previous judgment issued, it means that it could only mean that that person is compromised. It only means that that person is working according to their emotion. It only means that that person is not actually those who represent the law. They are those who destroys the law. It is very simple, because if you actually do a case study on that verdict issued, you will find out that those that issued that verdict actually brought Nigeria, they actually revived, they resuscitated Nigeria judiciary on the global stage. That's what they did. They resuscitated Nigeria judiciary in the global stage because nobody expected such verdict to come from Nigeria wobbling judiciary that is controlled by Fulani Federal system. It actually made people to start seeing Nigeria judiciary with a positive eye. Positively. I can assure you. And that is exactly the reason why all these people who call themselves obedient are still saying, depending, that we are going to court. Because that is actually revival of Nigeria judiciary. That's what those people did. And those people who actually gave that verdict supposed to be celebrated in Nigeria. If Nigerians and Nigeria judiciaries understand how Nigeria judiciary is seen in the whole world, because Nigeria judiciary is a judiciary that is undermined by ordinary civil defense. Nigeria judiciary is a sector that is undermined by ordinary police. Anybody undermines Nigeria judiciary. That is the reason why somebody will be picked up from their jurisdiction and took them away from that jurisdiction put them to Abuja, 500 kilometers away from their jurisdiction, and they will be tried by the police. They will be incarcerated by the police. Many people have been arrested in Nigeria. Nigeria police have arrested so many people without taking them to court. Because law says if you take anybody into custody within 48 hours, the reason why they say within 48 hours, because it might be during weekend that you collected such person. So within 48 hours, that person must be presented before the law, because they are not guilty until proven in the court of law. So if police could have arrest people, even sometimes shoot them and put them, incarcerate them in police holding cell for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 3, 4, 5 months, years, without presenting them to court, it is violation of human right. The fact that the court of Nigeria is undermined in that regard, these people actually resuscitated Nigeria judiciary. But that is something evil that is controlled by imperialist and neo-colonial power will never allow to thrive. They will never allow you to smell the coffee. That's exactly what happened there. If you are a proud one Nigerianist, you should be celebrating those 3 judges. Those 3 judges that judged that case that day. If any other court judge otherwise, they are judging it for their own selfish aggrandizement. They have collected money. They have, I am telling you the honest truth. Anybody who works in the judiciary will tell you the same thing. Now let us go to what is actually applicable. Now, if the court decided that the judgment issued after all the due diligence is conducted, that the judgment stands. Meanwhile, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu should be released immediately. Of course. When you dealing with people who does not have shame, like Nigeria government, you should expect unexpectable or unexpected, such as the second win will come to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. They will say, no, we don't agree. We don't agree. And at the end of the day, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu now becomes a political prisoner. Becomes a political prisoner, which is going to be condemned by any institution in the world, because this is 21st century. This is not 90s. This is 21st century, where knowledge have increased, because it is as a result. This time around, it's no longer that time when people will be doing things. It will, other people are not informed. At least there is media, there is social media. Media censors what you need to learn. They don't teach you what you need to learn. But now, social media will now bring you to the real story without being unadulterated. That is why we are here. We give you the message unadulterated. So this 21st century, there is not supposed to be anything like political prisoner. It cannot exist. Now, you know what happens? When they are now say that now they cannot release him, now which give everybody right for agitation. You now see, because it works both ways. It is two-edged sword. If the court decided that no, everything is okay with the judgment, if they like, they can take it to a Supreme Court say everything is okay with the judgment, because they will not find anything wrong with the judgment except if that person who is finding such thing is compromised. Now they can continue to hold mass. That means they have created a room for agitation. They have created a room for protest. They have created a room for, uprising. That is exactly what they are creating. A room for uprising. So, now, let us now go to the executive. Because what I have observed with the executive is that the executives have seen that the people that are running down the country, that are in charge of the country, the power of imperialist that is in charge of the country, will not enable him to breathe. Do you know what happens? Executive now invite Asari Dokubo. Executive now invite Asari Dokubo. Why did the executive invite Asari Dokubo? Because the executive is going to try to run a mafia state. They are going to try to run a mafia state. The reason why I am telling you this, I am going to break it down because initially I did not break it down. I am going to break it down. So let us go there. Let us go there. I am going to tell you and the executive the reason why Asari Dokubo does not want Mazen Nnamdi Kanu out. A very valid information. And I am going to tell executive that they can, I am going to tell you, one Nigerianist, that there has never been a country that succeeded working with people who does not know how to keep their emotions in check. Working with people who work emotionally. Now let us go to what transpired in Asaville. We are 1 hour into this program. Let us go there. Of course, I am claiming a fair use of this clip. I am claiming a fair use of this clip. So, let me play it so that you will understand. Well, let us analyze it bit by bit for you to know the stance of Asari Dokubo, for you to know the game the executive is playing. Listen to it. Pay attention.
dictatorship span over 30 years. And I came here today to give words of encouragement to the president for the actions and policies.
He is there today to give the president words of encouragement. Words of encouragement. Why do you have to give a president words of encouragement, Asari Dokubo? Now I will tell you. Words of encouragement. I will tell you. Just write it down. Because he will come to that area where the reason why he is giving him words of encouragement. I don't know why this is actually cracking.
So far made in these less than 3 weeks of governing a very difficult country like Nigeria. We discussed on a wide range of issues, especially on security and oil theft in the Niger Delta. Myself and my brothers assured the president that there will be zero oil theft and vandalization in the Niger Delta. We're going to work with NNPC, PCL, and the IOCs to make sure that oil theft is brought to zero. I also want to say that oil theft is encouraged by the military. The military is at the center of oil theft. And we have to make this very, very clear to the Nigerian public. 99% of oil theft can be traced to the Nigerian military.
Okay.
The Army and the Navy, especially. The Army and the Navy intimidate the civil defense, who are, by status, the people who are supposed to guard
Okay, let me bring this through. Just one moment. Let me bring it through the direct link because I can see that it is not playing. Let me play it from the phone. I think it will be better.
The Navy. And there are notorious naval commanders who are known to be kingpins of these bunkering activities. even if they give 1 billion contracts to everybody in the Niger Delta, because these military men are armed from the army and the navy, nothing will happen.
Okay.
The president has promised to take decisive action to make sure that this does not continue.
Now, he said, Asari Dokubo said that the oil theft in Nigeria is actually done by the military and navy. Now, having heard him saying it is done by military and the navy, who are those that are giving this military and navy pass? This military and navy, who give them pass? Because let us actually check who has pass in Nigeria oil exploration. Let us check who has passed the Nigeria oil exploration. It is Shell. It is Shell. Let us actually find out the companies who is able to give people pass to Nigeria oil exploration, so that we will now judge what this guy is saying, for you to see how he is censoring the real problem. He is censoring the real problem, and I will tell you the reason why he is censoring the real problem. The people who can give people pass in Nigeria is Shell, and there is other Texaco. There is Texaco. There are many oil companies in Nigeria there is Ajib, there is Greenville, there are many of them who can give people pass in Nigeria. Number one thing you need to understand is that those are the primary oil thieves. Primary oil thieves. Asari Dokubo cannot mention them. Primary oil thieves. He cannot mention them. He is mentioning those that are being used to secure the area which this oil theft is happening. It is Army and Navy, according to him. But who are those? Who are those syndicates that uses Army and Navy? Nigeria Army and Navy. This is not just International Army and Navy. Nigeria National Army and Navy to compromise the oil businesses in Nigeria. Who are those who has that power to actually use this military and navy to do oil theft in Nigeria? Who are those? Have you now seen where Tinubu and this Asari Dokubo is trying to now censor exactly what the problem is and hitting the nails on where it is not going to hold? Because if you remove this particular military that they are using, they will find another one. This has been the problem of many nations. Because the leader of this syndicate, they have a lot of stake in Nigeria. This is when you talk about the imperialism. This is when you talk about the neo-colonialism. You talk this. This is where it comes in this situation. These are the people capable of actually making sure that Tinubu stays in the position of where he is. That is the reason why they have to now play this dangerous game to come and tell you, we have discovered it is army and it is navy that is stealing oil in Niger Delta. It does not make sense. Who are they selling it to? Who are they selling it to? Then he went ahead to tell you that there is a ship that is bigger than the Asoville that is always there when this army and military are stealing this oil. Is going into those ships. Now ask yourself, have you now seen the stakeholders? Ask yourself, who is the real criminals? And what is the play, what is the role of this army and the navy? Their role is security role. That's all. Because the criminality or the oil theft in Nigeria is actually coming from the top. It is coming from the top. Those who are benefiting from those are those who are able to hide away your criminal docket. The docket you have when it is time like this, when you see that you find people who will tell you will deny you visa if you engage in any election rigging or election malpractices. Then at the end of the election malpractices, everybody remain quiet. That is where they come in. Because the reason why, have you ever asked yourself, what is the reason why Nigeria election is very important to the United States? And that is the reason why Tinubu and this guy, who are lying to themselves through their teeth in front of more than 200 million people, we come and be telling you it is Nigeria army and police. The people, they will be able to mention their name and go scot-free. Who are those orchestrating that criminality? Because the problem of nations, they don't like to fight a problem from the root, because the main root is actually giving them money, bribing them. They are the ones who will make sure that these people who are controlling the oil theft are the ones controlling Nigeria economy. They are the ones controlling Nigeria economy. Take it to the bank, you will cash up a lot of money. Do you know why? These are the type of people, when they decide to get angry, you will find dollar up to 1 to 1,000. These are the people. And every leader that is going into the position, they will make sure that it is their own person. So if Tinubu will open his mouth to say that he does not know those that is actually doing the oil theft, and they are calling the military and the navy, those whom they can, they can get away with when they call them, because this is exactly what these people will tell them to say. It is those who make sure that they are in position of power. That is the reason why Nigeria election is very important to UK, to Britain, very important to USA. And they will not mention those people because these people did them a favor. Oil theft will return the favor. These are something that they do not want you to know. The power of imperialism, the power of neocolonialism, that is where it is in play. And this guy who think he know better, he think he's talking to fools. Who give these people pass? Military and navy. How many of them studied oil and petrochemical? How many of them are in the oil sector? That they are the ones stealing the oil. Are they not the one guiding the criminals to steal the oil? This is where in the Nigeria who are supposed to be intelligent, this is where you need to come in. This is where you need to come in. Because all these things these guys are concocting, it is a lie. And you will find out that it might be that Tinubu is not accepted by all the military. That is what I am actually smelling here. I am perceiving that Tinubu is not accepted by many military, by all the Nigerian military. That is the reason why Tinubu is now trying to use Asari Dokubo to actually paint the name of military red and blue or black and white, so that he will get a pass to run a mafia state. Because if you listen to this guy, he told you that the army and police, the Nigeria army has what it takes to fight Boko Haram, but they are not fighting it. Now you begin to ask yourself, why is it only now that the Asari Dokubo will now understand? Let me play it. Let me play it. I don't want to be exaggerating. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth. Let me allow him to roll so that I will give it.
It's carrying inside their truck.
Uh,
So, will let us be able to support the government. Able to support the government. I am a participant in this war. I fight on the side of the government of the Nigerian state.
listen, listen,
In Plateau, in Niger, in
Listen,
Anambra,
listen.
in Imo, in Abia, and in River State,
I want to.
and in Abuja, and the Navy.
Uh-huh.
And there are notorious naval commanders who are known to be kingpins
Kingpins.
of these bunkering activities. Even if they give 1 billion contracts
Okay.
to everybody in the Niger Delta, because these military men are harmed from the army and the navy, nothing will happen. The president has promised to take decisive action
Okay.
to make sure that this does not continue.
Okay.
It is brought to an end. It is very shameful. So I had volunteered to help, to assist, and to do the things that are necessary to put a stop to this evil that is being perpetuated against the people.
How is he going to help when he said it now, that if you give $1 billion contract to everybody in Niger Delta, they will not put a stop to it? So who is going to put a stop to it? Asari Dokubo. That's why he has volunteered. He volunteered to put a stop to it. When if you give $1 billion contract to everybody in Niger Delta, they will not win. But Asari Dokubo will volunteer and win. So what does that entail? It is simple. Could it be that Asari Dokubo want to be the one that will take a contract from Tompolo? I am not confirming it, but I am just giving you the reason why he could make such statement, because such statement does not add up. He said every other person you give million contract, they will not succeed. But he has volunteered himself to succeed. Could it be that Asari Dokubo want this million contract? Now he went ahead and said that he is fighting, has been fighting for the federal government. But I want you to write that part. No one will succeed because the military are armed. Asari Dokubo will succeed because he has volunteered himself to succeed. Let us continue. Let us continue so that I will clear it up.
People of the Niger Delta, the oil-bearing community, and the whole of Nigerians. On security, I want to clearly say that there are full-scale wars going on in different parts of this country. In the southeast, the IPOB ESN is waging a full-scale war against the government of this country. And
have you now seen when I talk about Asari Dokubo being a very, very envious human being? It is those who present themselves with emotion. Do you know the reason why Asari... Now I begin to understand the reason why Asari Dokubo hates Mazen Nnamdi Kanu so much. Because Asari Dokubo want to be the only person who has an armed group that wherever the government say hi, Asari Dokubo will be the one to respond, I am here, with his armed group. So immediately when Mazen Nnamdi Kanu created Eastern Security Network, Asari Dokubo now have a thought in mind, thinking that it is to have the same thing that Asari Dokubo has been using to siphon money in Nigeria. When he didn't have a job, he will use those people as criminals. He will use them to threaten the Nigeria government. But now he thought that Nnamdi Kanu is going through the same route to have this same, this type of setup that he has, because he is not happy that he is sharing oil pipeline guard with Tompolo. Now comes another formidable group like Eastern Security Network. But let me tell you, Asari Dokubo, this your envy is taking you nowhere. It makes you look stupid. Because Mazen Nnamdi Kanu invented Eastern Security Network for the sake of the terrorist that is coming from across Sahel into Biafra land, courtesy of Nigeria government emeritus, which we are still looking forward to see how this one is going to play their own game. But courtesy of the impostor in Asorok, bringing all Fulani machineries to continue to confuse Nigeria while he is wearing a mask ruling over you. Today he has disappeared. If at all this man called Tinubu want to work, he's supposed to have started with questioning the previous government, because he opened his mouth to say that he inherited asset and liability. There is no budget. Where is the money? Who was presiding over the country? Where is he? He's supposed to answer you that question. Why is there no budget? There is a lot of loan taken. Now, Onyige Tibunwe Mefele is the one that you will be able to, intimidate. You took Emifere and they get him arrested. I even heard Emifere want to do his exposition. But we will wait to hear that exposition, because we don't believe that I want to do it. We believe you doing it. Now, coming back to the real deal. Asari Dokubo is only jealous because of Eastern Security Network. He does not want any other group to rise up in the name of armed group. But he does not know that our Eastern Security Network is securing our land. We're not waging war against government. So even it's what Asari Dokubo just said now, it is a proven fact that Nigeria government is a terrorist. Because if he said that Eastern Security Network is actually waging a full-scale war against the government, it means that the government is the terrorist. Because Eastern Security Network is in the bush protecting the land from the hands of terrorists to avoid what is happening in the northern Nigeria, which everybody, including the mainstream media who does not want to report it. The reason why it is not happening in Oduduwa land, in Yoruba land today, it is Amotekun. The reason why it is not, the casualties are not being reported in Biafra land, it is Eastern Security Network. So why is Asari Dokubo so angry about Eastern Security Network? Asari Dokubo, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is not playing the type of game you are playing. You are a political thug. You can be used to run a mafia state. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is only up for defending his people. You are defending your big stomach. That is only thing you are up for, Asari Dokubo. Have you now seen what makes you different from us? We are not like you. So don't panic. Eastern Security Network is not going to collect pipeline contract. They are not going to collect pipeline contract, because it is not what we are actually up for. What we are up for is nothing but to safeguard our land from the activities of terrorists that is coming across the Sahel, that is killing people. Of course, you see what is happening in the Middle Belt. That is exactly what he wish you people. All these governors in Biafra land like Hope Uzodimma, using Asari Dokubo to kill our people. You will eventually pay for it. Because the reason why Asari Dokubo is going up and down, killing people, because he also said it here, that he is also involved in the war, which we know we are not fighting any war with anybody. So if he say he's involved with the war, he should tell us what war he's talking about. Now, let us continue. All those governors, you will get your fair share. Let's continue.
And many local government, many communities are deserted, schools are closed, hospitals are closed.
According to Asari
In the same vein, in Niger, in Zamfara, in Plateau,
okay,
in Kaduna, in Yobe, in Borno, we're only talking about Boko Haram. Boko Haram is just a tip of the iceberg.
Iceberg.
There's a full-scale war going on.
Where?
And the blackmail of the Nigerian state by the Nigerian military is shameful. They said they do not have enough armament.
Okay.
And people listen to this false narrative.
Okay.
They are lying.
Wow.
They are liars. I repeat, they are liars because I am a participant.
He's a participant.
I am a participant in this war.
Okay.
I fight on the side of the government of the Nigerian state.
Okay.
In Plateau, in Niger, in...
Why is Asari Dokubo a participant in a war when Asari Dokubo is not a member of a police, is not a member of military, is not a member of civil defense, DSS, Chototo? Why is he a participant of a war that he claimed that is full-scaled? What gave him the competency to participate in a full-scaled war? Who gave him the license to bear firearm? So why is Asari Dokubo now condemning Eastern Security Network? Because it means, if you say he's a participant, it means that the terrorism activities in Nigeria is out of hand. It is now everybody for themselves. Now, why is the one Eastern Security Network is doing? To protect Igbo land and Biafra land in extension. It becomes a sin. They now become a target. If Eastern Security Network is waging war against the terrorists, and Asari Dokubo call it waging war against the government, it means Asari Dokubo and their government, they are terrorists. And he has confirmed that he is a participant of those who bear arms in Nigeria, claiming he is fighting on behalf of government. On behalf of government. Where is the military? Have you now seen the reason why Asari Dokubo is now trying to sideline the military? Because just like I've told you, not all the military are in support of Tinubu. There is already a problem between the military, some militaries, and the current government, because if you look at it, for the current government to come up and start sabotaging military that is supposed to use reinforce as a commander-in-chief of an armed force. He's supposed to reinforce them and use them to fight the insurgency of terrorism. He is now embracing a political thug. So this is an evidence that they want to run a mafia state. Are you paying attention? A country that does not actually look at their military. It is running on a mafia state. Military does not have the competency what it takes. These militaries are still Nigerians, so they don't have what it takes. Asari Dokubo is now confirming that militaries are criminals, that they have what it takes to fight terrorism, but they are not fighting it. Each and every day we come here, we report to you that the military in Nigeria, Nigerian military is going to village by village, ransacking people. In the name, they are looking for Eastern Security Network, who is fighting terrorism. Who do you believe in? Have you now seen that this indirectly, these guys are confirming every, information we have made public in the domain? He is confirming that, because everything that this guy is saying here, it is exactly what we have said over the years. So who are those the Nigerian military are killing in Biafra land? Who are those their houses are being burnt in Biafra land? Now, is Asari Dokubo in those areas in Biafra land to fight the military who are the syndicate that is destroying Nigeria instead of fighting Boko Haram? No. Asari Dokubo is there to look for who is IPOB and who is not IPOB. He said he will kill all of you. He did not say he will kill Boko Haram. Asari Dokubo never said he will kill Fulani terrorists. He said he will kill IPOB. Now he said that he is a participant of the war. So he's been killing IPOB in disguise of the military. Probably Asari Dokubo is the one who is burning the houses of people in Biafra land in the name that it is military. Maybe they have a problem with the military now for using their name. Now we come to say, now military is the one stealing oil. Military is not fighting Boko Haram. Asari Dokubo is the one who is participant in the war. Asari Dokubo is the one now fighting Boko Haram. Who runs a country without a military? That is exactly what we are trying to understand right now. What is the game this president select and Asari Dokubo is playing? Let's listen to them more, because we have less than 20 minutes left.
In Anambra, in Imo, in Habia, and in River State.
So you are the one killing our people.
Today you are traveling to Kaduna on this road. It's not the army that made it possible to travel for you to travel to Abuja.
Okay.
Or travel to Kaduna, vice versa.
It is you.
It is my men.
Your men.
Employed by the government of the Nigerian state. Stationed in Niger. Today you go to Baga, you go to Chirolo, you go to Wase.
Your men employed by Nigeria government. Your men. And so Nigeria, people can have men. People can have men to defend their land. Why is the one Mazen Nnamdi Kanu did separate, different? Is it because he does not want he doesn't want to do a deal with the government? He does not want them to be compromised by the government of the day. He wants them to protect the land from our mothers being raped, from our sisters being raped, from our children being raped on their way going to the stream. Of course, you understand there is no pipe-borne water in Nigeria. Everyone wake up early in the morning to go to the stream, except those who are, affluent. They will dig a borehole. Even next to a soccer way, they dig a borehole. Just like I will always say, cholera that has been in Nigeria, many people are immune to it. That's why it's no longer killing. Malaria, you are immune to it. That's why you are no longer reporting the number. typhoid, you are immune to it. All these things. So in a situation whereby they institutionalize poverty, that our people will go out of their way to make sure that they help themselves, then somebody called a terrorist will now come to terrorize these people who are looking for means to survive. Now a good Samaritan woke up and say, because I have the influence of the people, let's mobilize the youth to pick up arms to defend ourselves, which many Nigeria leaders made that statement last year. Everybody should pick up arms and defend themselves. Why is this one so problematic to Asari Dokubo when he has his own men who pick up arms to defend themselves? He create armed men and sell them to government. That's what he's doing now. The reason why he sold them to government, he could not get the billion contract to defend the pipeline. Are you now understanding what's going on? So let us actually proceed because our time is gone.
We have lost so many men, and we do not use in all this engagement. We don't even have 1% of the armament deployed by the Nigerian military.
Okay.
1%. And we have had resounding success. So these black men must end. They have enough resources to fight.
Okay.
Instead of fighting, they are busy stealing.
Okay.
They are busy making the government to spend unnecessarily.
So those who stealing, destroying people's houses, looting people's houses in Biafra land. Have you now seen that Asari Dokubo have confirmed that our reports are authentic? The Nigerian army are the Fulani army of conquest. That's why they cannot use their armament to kill terrorists. Rather, they will use their armament to fight those fighting terrorists. And Asari Dokubo is not actually far from what this military are doing. It is just because now it is for his own selfish aggrandizement. That is the reason why Asari Dokubo is now telling you the military are the culprit alone. But all of them are in this game together. All of them. They are in this game together. We are watching. They will expose themselves one after another. The world will bear us witness that everything we have said about Nigeria and their activities, it is nothing but the truth. Now let's continue.
Where is Dogo today? Who was terrorizing Niger, Kaduna? Where is Dogo today? He's nowhere. Because he had been served his dish that he was serving other people. So, let us be able to support the government and don't listen to these false narratives.
Okay.
Because somebody must tell the truth.
Okay, you are.
We don't have arms. An average person is carrying 2 magazines of AK-47 bullets. The Nigerian army is carrying inside their truck 20, 30 cans. 2 magazines of AK-47 is 25 rounds of ammunition. 700 or 750 make up a can. They call it sardine. And they have 20, 25, 30 in their distance. They will leave on slight attack. They will abandon these weapons for the bandits, the insurgents to take them, to capture them. So in actual fact, the insurgents are harvesting from the Nigerian military and police.
Okay.
to further their insurgency.
Oh.
And most of these people, are they actually insurgents?
Is that so?
They are mere criminals.
Tell me something.
They are mere criminals. You go to some camps, you'll find 200 vehicles stolen from people. Who are the owners of these vehicles? They cut these vehicles into parts, they sell them. You go to some places, you find that human beings' parts are being brought out, they are put in coolers and sold.
Wow.
Woman organ trafficking, etc., which the governor of Anambra said.
Did you see what we've been saying? If we never said this one, organ harvestation, it started with the SARS that was trained by Britain, equipped by Britain. Organ harvestation, he's telling you confirmation of what we said. Human being parts being put in the cooler for them to sell. Now terrorist is also now doing the same. Have you now seen why it is very important to bring people who are formidable to protect your land? It is not at the time to actually be making sentiment. It is not the time to make sentiment. It is the time to protect your land. But Asari Dokubo want to be the one whom will use his dog to do it all, because he is very, very envy and jealous, believing that anybody who pick up arm to defend themselves will be looking for contract from the government. Now I will tell you the reason why Asari Dokubo is against Nnamdi Kanu. I will tell you now. Let him speak.
Has also attested to it in one of his interviews. So what I'm trying to say is this. I, as a person who is in the know, I have given, even before the president came, I knew that we had never had any person like him aspiring for this position. I'm not flattering him now.
You're not
I
flattering
said
him.
it before the primaries. I said it during the course of the election. I said it after the election. So all the forces of evil and darkness came together to fight to make sure that Ahmed Bola Tinubu did not become president of Nigeria.
Look at who is talking.
Institution failure that is going on.
Okay.
Why is NDDC is not working? Because there are people from here who go and collect all the money from NDDC. All the money. The NDDC MD and the board member only want to survive. Let me just take my bread and water. Let them not sack me. So they take all this thing.
Pay
And the
attention.
amnesty program is the same thing. They just go collect everything. And it is the people that are sitting there that suffers. How can somebody say 500 billion a month? You are using it to lift people out of poverty. Do you know how many industries that will settle? Do you know how many agricultural settlements?
Oh, what? What's up? Now let me fast forward him, because I want to actually give you some piece I came across. Alloy Ejimakor.
For the bandits, all the money. The NDDC MD and the board member only want to survive. Let me just take my bread and water. Let them not sack me. So they take all this thing. And the amnesty program is the same thing. They just go collect everything. And it is the people that are sitting there that suffers. How can somebody say 500 billion a month? You are using it to lift people out of poverty. Do you know how many industries that will settle? Do you know how many agricultural settlements that we set up? Where did the money go to? How can somebody say we use 10?
Where did the money go to? Where is the president of the day? The president emeritus, under his watch, where did the money go to? If you want to fight crime, start from the grassroots. Of course, the president will not be anywhere to be found. If this man called Tinubu, who is, did everything, even bribe the devil, bribe everything in order to him to be in the position of leadership. If he want to consolidate, if he want to actually claim he want to do good, he must start with the president who just left office.
$10 billion. Thank you very much.
Let me listen to him. There is something else.
Helping to reduce crime in society, and you mentioned Dogo. Does it mean that you have your personal army that is operating, to deal with criminality? Do you have your personal army?
I don't have my personal army. Nigeria has been engaging mercenaries, foreign mercenaries from other countries, from Belarus, from South Africa, to fight insurgency. Maybe you are not aware. So why will Nigeria not engage in the same token locals who have the same wherewithal and are more effective and are more conversant with the environment?
Wow.
We are not the only one. Hunters Association, different people are engaged. Civilian JTF are engaged to confront this evil.
So these people are engageable, but when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu created Eastern Security Network, for you to see it is that bad, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is 1 in a million. He created Eastern Security Network to defend his land. He becomes a terrorist. Now, he is using Eastern Security Network to fight insurgency, which he is not asking government to pay him, but for the sake of defending their land. If Asari Dokubo could have, they asked him, do you have your private army? He said no, that Nigeria is engaging South Africa, engaging other mercenaries to come and fight. Why can't they engage the homemade mercenaries? Which he's not a military, he's not an army. So if these things are obtainable in Nigeria, why is the one Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did a different case scenario? Is it because he is truly fighting this terrorist? Because Nigeria does not want to fight terrorists. They want to consolidate with them. Remember, attack on terrorists that attack on the north, according to the president emeritus. Now, Asari Dokubo has right to create people armed group. No other person must have right. Listen to what he said next in this question before I bring
that has
to you
enveloped this country. I don't have a private army. Assisting the government as a citizen, as a good citizen of this country, to save the lives. Since the time we went there, Kaduna Road had been free. No more kidnapping. We are saving lives. I don't have a private army. And the Constitution does not provide for a private army.
Constitution does not provide for a private army.
The president is a strong president. He's a commander-in-chief of the armed forces. He's going to take decisive action to get these rotten eggs. It's not the old Army and the Navy. There are a few who have this entitlement mentality.
But you said Army and Navy. You generalized. Now you are now speaking from both sides of your mouth. Now president is now going to take a decisive action. Now let's continue.
I get people where they up, where go to cover me. The president is going to remove them and make it possible for the people of this country to benefit. For instance, Emefule is gone, Bauer is gone, so more heads will roll. Those who are standing as an impediment to the good and progress of this country. The president will not dally with them.
Okay.
He will not do CCCC with them. He's going to put and kick them out. And when he does that, we'll have the unfettered power, encouragement to get rid of oil theft, which all my brothers in the Niger Delta, all of us have agreed.
Listen, this
I
is...
don't share in that. You encourage people to kill other people. When the madness they call NSAS started, I was one of the people vocal opposed to that nonsense called NSAS. And Nnamdi Kanu was walking free. What did he do? He poured petrol. He was walking free. He poured petrol on the flames for NSAS. Now, he has been caught. What of the people who have died?
Okay.
This is a criminal.
Okay.
He should face the law. What of the people who have died?
You should face the law.
As I'm talking, Nnamdi Kanu does not have any control over what is happening in the southeast.
Okay.
Simeon Ekpa had come out pretending that he's with Nnamdi Kanu. He has actually plotted a coup against Nnamdi Kanu.
Oh.
To take over the leadership of IPOP. That is the truth of the matter.
Oh. Is that
so? Releasing Nnamdi Kanu is rewarding criminality and rewarding gruesome murder of innocent people.
Wow.
He should face the law for the actions.
Now listen to the reason why he does not want Nnamdi Kanu to be released. Because of their personal vendetta. Personal issues. Listen. Listen. I hope you will not be hanging. You will play before my time is finished. Let me try to see. Are you listening?
It's like another Afonja in our land. That pig is an agent of darkness in our land. If you don't know, I'll tell you the truth. Because it's a criminal. I'll prove it. As I'm saying it, I'm mentioning names. As I just say, that's the pig God Asari that I gave money to. From inside the prison. Because he has no shame. From inside the prison, I get that idiot 20 million naira.
Because Mazen Nnamdi Kanu gave him some money. And from there they have issues. Because he was the one, claiming he will train the boys for Mazen Nnamdi Kanu for him to protect his land, because the contract of training the boys was removed from him after finding out that he is siphoning money instead of doing the job. Now Mazen Nnamdi Kanu become criminals in the plan, in the because of what two of them were doing together, but only to find out that Asari Dokubo is an agent. He pull out from him, he become criminal. Have you now seen that this type of emotional somebody who is looking at personal issue he has with somebody in order to deal with that person, how is he going to bring security to your land? The Tinubu is running a mafia.